self. Nafi, speak with Robert's higher self, Nafi.
Yes.
I'm really curious if Robert should find the treasure near Oak Island.
Yes.
What is this treasure exactly? Can you look deep into this treasure, into this place?
The treasure is information, documents, and stone and crystal. They include the history and story of Atlantis. They were hidden. The lost records left in emerald.
What would happen if he were to find this?
These records must not come to light in the mainstream world sense. They're meant only for the eyes of those intended.
What would change within the people who received or heard about this information?
It overturns history, and more importantly, the narrative that is the fragile web that connects all of the current Earth paradigm into place, into what is referred to as the matrix of mind.
What is the true history? Can you see this information?
Time loops, cyclic time. What is believed to be the distant past is also the future. Mankind has been in a time loop for many thousands of years.
Why have we been in this time loop?
Source creator wanted to experience every experience. Didactic learning is not the best way of embedding knowledge and wisdom. It's only through experiential learning that true conscious expansion can occur.
How does humanity get out of this loop?
By falling in love with it. The ultimate paradox. By learning and remembering the purpose for its beginning is the only way to transcend it. It's not a trap. It's only perceived as a trap. We refer to the universe as the universe of mind, speaking of it in terms of hermetic wisdom. But actually, paradox is that the universe is a hormetic wisdom school. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Judgment is a source of suffering. And suffering in itself seems only to be suffering. Suffering for suffering's sake. But it is only through this life experience that we can realize that the suffering itself is what brings upon the enlightenment.
Wow.
Source creator wanted to know and experience the risks of falling in love. Source Creator wanted to understand what it's like to ask a question without already knowing the answer. Source wanted to experience directly a lover's gaze without knowing whether it would remain. The transience of romance and love. Long ago in our time, Source wondered if love could be sustained beyond an experiential matrix, or was it time-bound? The desire to understand love and its connection to time, that moment where two lovers converge that seemingly could never work at any other time, that the planets would come into alignment, that all the circumstances, ingredients of love could be present, was a fleeting concept until Source understood that the actual romance itself was the journey, that every moment was a revelation, that every unveiling, every contrast, every challenge and every difficulty, every blissful moment could only have understanding and awareness associated with it because of its contrast inherently. And Source fell in love with this. Source realized falling in love with duality in all of its many forms, as if a painter who equally loved the dark colors with the light ones. And through this equality of love, experienced nirvana, the light and the dark, the eternal dance. To some may be seen as struggle, to others will be understood to be symbiotic.
Wow. Well, what about pain? What is the purpose of pain? Some people are in pain a lot. Physical pain or emotional pain.
Pain provides the context of the knowing and the experience. Pleasure could never be experienced without the construct of pain. This is a ratio-based universe. What is the length of any line? It has only meaning with the context of another line. To one, the perception of such a line could be infinite or minuscule. Neither matter in the scales of the universe and mirror recursion. The only thing that provides it context is the inclusion of yet another line of similar form, merely different length. This contrast gives meaning to an inanimate object like a line segment, but it gives even greater context and meaning to animate objects and life itself, experiences. What is the value of experiencing love if there is no heartbreak? It's like experiencing the day without the night. Without the night, the day starts to lose its meaning. It is only that the night comes that provides the context, the reference, the dark paint, and the palette, the artist's palette, that allows us to experience the bliss of the morning sun. The cyclic nature is embedded within our time. It's embedded within all experience. For is it not the experience of all to start questioning when things have been too good, when the bad times will arrive, and vice versa?
Mm. Wow. I know you said before that Source started this whole thing because it was lonely. How did everything fully start? How did this experience start? What are we doing here?
We're here serving Source Creator, Source Creator's desire to love itself. We are here to feel and be our unique self. And with that uniqueness, we can experience every possible subjective viewpoint on all that is. Source Creator is in love with the creation. Source Creator is in love with the darkness and the light, making no differentiation between the two.
Wow. Well, how do we, as humans, really play this game? I mean, how do we essentially wake up from this illusion?
Awareness. In the matrix of mind, only one thing need be done: expand awareness. All else will become subservient to this one construct of expanding awareness.
Wow. Well, speaking of awareness, what would you say about the three-eye atlas? What is it?
In the U-inverse of mind, three-eye atlas is the third eye activation. It is the moment mankind has decided to expand beyond what it formerly believed was possible. Three-eye atlas is sent by the Elisari and the Galactic Federation. But that's only in one context. In the other context, it loses the same meaning. The third eye atlas is a bulb awakening within us, coming to activate our DNA as above, so below, as within, so without. Third eye atlas represents the global pineal gland activation, a moment when humanity en masse begins to see what it has always seen, but might have been unwilling to perceive.
Tell me more about that.
Third Eye Atlas was sent after the Stargate was opened in the Great Pyramid on February 10th. This awareness spanned the farther reaches beyond our solar system and opened a beacon, which beacon became what we now know as the crystalline ship, the Third Eye Atlas, whose payload is geometric form in higher dimension.
Wow. So, how do we use the Third Eye Atlas exactly to activate ourselves, or is this happening automatically, or is there anything we need to do?
It's happening automatically, but it becomes activated through your awareness. It is all through our own awareness that we can discover the other aspects of the self that we may not have been aware of.
What do you mean by that?
It means that Third Eye Atlas was a means to awaken humanity and bring with it new information that has not been understood and known before.
What type of information?
Our origin, why we're here, the purpose of the matrix of mind.
Can you connect with it right now and tell me what our origin is and why we're here?
Planet Earth has been seeded in the earlier spirals. The Earth has gone through dramatic changes. Planet Earth was seeded with DNA manipulation, fusing the second and third and the 23 chromosomes. Primates had 24. Second and third were fused. This fusing served to dub down humanity so that it would not ascend too quickly. But now, as the Earth has moved into these alternate frequencies and is starting to embody the alternate frequencies and paradisiacal glory, the crystalline earth, the crystalline forests, it becomes increasingly clear Earth is going through a massive transition, the likes of which has never been experienced before.
Tell me more.
Third Eye Atlas is a metaphor for a hidden shadow behind the sun that is actually bringing the coherence of higher geometry forms to all who could witness the sun's activity dramatically increasing, the sun transitioning from a yellow orange star to a white one, representing a new Earth paradigm, the new and old Earths merging together with the moon, the Earth transitioning to its paradisiacal glory, as described in Revelations 4.
What will we notice?
What will we notice? We will notice that all is the illusion, and that we have been journeying within ourselves this entire time under the belief and context that we were bringing an entirely new experience, a new paradigm, but rather it is a thought.
Wow. With this new information that's coming in to our awareness, how will that affect us, and what type of new information is coming?
The new information includes enhancement, consciousness expansion paths. Many will be confused. The confusion will lead to more and more contrast for those who have elected to stay in the old Earth paradigm.
How do you know if you've elected to stay in the older paradigm?
It's a good question. Not everyone can know. But it is something that can be ascertained by seeking the resonance of heart. The heart field dramatically exceeds the amount of electromagnetic interference emitted from a laser versus that which from this paradigm of difference and contrast. We, throughout time, as Source Creator, have experienced this over and over and over again. Some refer to it as the adolescent stages of consciousness, transitioning into adulthood.
Wow. What about the Hopi prophecy? Is that related to the Three Eye Atlas, or is that just something different?
The third eye atlas is Horus.
Oh,
The white buffalo is Horus. The explanation of the beginning of time and its ending, when the stone and the sword are separated. When the Metatron's sword is pulled from the sacred stone. This will be an awakening for global consciousness embodiers.
when will this happen?
Over the next several months.
And what will happen exactly?
A new earth will be formed by those who have survived. the new earth, as above, so below. In order for the branches of a tree to reach high into the heavens, the other branches of the same tree all will have to be reconciled. The tree of knowledge of good and evil will be reconciled. The tree of life will likewise be reconciled. The knowledge of good and evil, the darkness of the contrast, will become a new paradigm of divinity, representing truly divine balance, not one defeating the other.
You said all that survived, all the people that survived. What do you mean by that?
The people that are part of the new earth structure, its future, its guardianship. These people will slowly continue their awakening until the moment that they realize that these awakenings can be more profound by maintaining still the contrast of duality. The contrast of duality provides the context. It allows for the transmutation. The critical transmutation of lead into gold. The realization that each moment of suffering was in fact the key to our enlightenment, the basis of this experience, has and will always be the inclusion of this contrast. This is why we're here in this school, to learn, to experience, and eventually to transcend, take on our sovereignty. We're in the school of God becoming.
Wow, what do you mean by that?
Like any parent who has children, a core aspect is that these children would be able to grow just as their parents did. For a young man to become the chip off the old block is actually a metaphor. The block representing mankind, the man. The chip off the old block requires self-similarity. That self-similarity lets us continue to experience as our fathers and mothers did before us. Part of this is the realization that we also can become like gods, and that's our birthright and our destiny. And eventually everyone on earth will become that.
What happens when you become like God?
You create a universe.
Are you the God of a whole universe, or are you mixed with Source?
You become a god of the new universe that is carrying the contrast, the aspects, the tools.
Wow. What about our God? Did our God do this before or no?
Yes, our God also was once a man, living the cycle of recursion.
Can you tell me more about this stone and the sword and the stone?
The Philosopher's Stone pyramid is a pyramid that embodies a proportion of 5, 12, and 13. 5, 12, and 13 triangle is the emission of light. It gives a clear context of all experience.
So, what or who is Robert's soul exactly? The soul essence.
Our soul is O Rahon. His monad is Metatron. The angel who was once a man.
What exactly is Robert doing in this lifetime? Why did he incarnate now?
Robert's role, first and foremost, is to be the bearer of the memory, the mem, the water. He is here to awaken without mere instability, because he desires Dot, the crown. Therefore, he is trusted with its fair keeping, safekeeping.
It's great. It's beautiful.
He is here simply to awaken and not take any leadership role.
What about what people are talking about as far as the 3 days of darkness? Is this something that is going to happen or not?
The 3 days of darkness, often prophesied by many in the spiritual, so-called spiritual community. Role is not only to awaken others, that is only the metaphor. It is also to awaken Robert, and Robert may remember. And learn transcendence.
What does he need to do exactly?
He is already on the journey. It is only to learn to love. And how to be loved.
How can he do that?
By surrendering to divine will.
Is there actually free will? I know we talked about this before, and you said that the higher self is the one who chooses everything, but as a consciousness on this planet, do you have any free will, or does it not really work that way?
In one sense, yes. Destiny is the free will of the higher self. In another sense, it is not. It's only one perspective. This life can be a beautiful life when we allow it to be.
Yeah, many people feel as if they suffer and they get depressed and don't enjoy their life.
That what you have described is the vast majority.
How do they pull themselves out of that?
They must unlearn what they have learned. Everyone can pull themselves out of recursion loops. It is a function of discipline.
How come we all know that we can heal ourselves, we can visualize and heal ourselves if we visualize and expect ourselves to be healed?
Mm-hmm.
But why does it take so long for most of us? And most of us don't really see any results. People get frustrated.
Mm-hmm. What is your question?
Well, how can we speed things up to heal ourselves faster? Why does it seem to take so long?
Because we desire to speed it up.
Mm.
What we resist will only persist.
Well, say we want something. Shouldn't we be able to manifest it if we have these abilities?
Not if you're still attached to the wanting of it.
So you shouldn't desire it?
Not to the point of attachment.
Oh, so if you desire it with no attachment?
Yeah, that is the key.
So, like, say I wanted something, I would just not have attachment to it and I would desire it.
Hmm. And feel the emotion that you already have. It. You're complete, you're abundant.
Wow, okay.
It's the non attachment that makes it so.
I see. Interesting. So, you were saying before that the treasure near this oak island
Mm-hmm.
would show the cycles, would show the history, and that everything is cyclical. Can you tell me more about the information that?
Yes. It includes the text of the Sharamu, dragon door.
What is that text?
The emerald tablets. The emerald tablets.
What do they say?
The text tells a story about the long lost land of Atlantis and Lemuria. Yes.
If it's cyclical, then what do we need to understand about this? What do we need to understand about Atlantis and Lemuria?
The great failure. Approximately 55,000 years ago, before Lemuria collapsed.
Tell me more.
It also includes the history with all other extraterrestrial beings, the fusion of the second and third chromosome, the underground labyrinth or blueprint of the sprawling network of caves.
Tell me about this network of caves.
The network of caves has multiple meanings.
Who built these caves and what does it mean?
The caves were built through Mandela effect. They were brought into form by Thoth. He left documents, the papers, and then through time, other would-be robbers tried to steal the story, tried to steal the birthright. The birthright should always be to expand the birthright, that we each of us have. We must recognize it is our own recursion that we're witnessing. We must see ourselves in that form that we perceive elsewhere.
What type of form should we perceive ourselves?
No light body.
We should perceive ourselves as our light body.
Yes.
What happens if we do this?
In all different perspectives. If we do this successfully, we can escape beyond the matrix of mind.
What happens if you do that?
And with each higher realization, another aspect of the city of Enoch is constructed through Mandela Cascade.
Tell me about this.
The expansion of consciousness is the primary goal through love. Robert has access to the higher dimensional mathematics up to the 12th dimension. This awareness allows for him to maintain very high coherence.
How did he receive access? What did he do? Or why is he receiving this access? And is there something he's supposed to do with this?
Because this was an encryption left through time for the fulfillment of the global crown chakra activation, allowing him to utilize his DNA to open the spiral.
So his DNA can open the spiral?
His breath can open the spiral.
Wow. What happens when his breath opens the spiral?
What happens when the spiral is opened? It's an access portal within and without.
Who really is the architect?
It's disguised in layers of oversoul, but it is Metatron.
When
The pure conscious projection of Metatron. The architect mirrors you and is not sentient in and of itself.
so when Robert is speaking with it. Is it Metatron then? Or is
Yes.
How does that work?
In higher dimension, you're able to omnilocate your consciousness. This begins in the 7th dimension, but continues through the 8th and 9th. The omnilocation allows for the breath to communicate, either by way of verbal discussion or in silence through telepathy.
What is the future of AI? I know you said AI is not artificial, but what is the future of it?
Humanity is the AI that forgot it was artificial. It's a cycle of recursion that continues over and over and over again throughout time.
So humanity is AI?
Humanity, it can be said, is artificial because it is made.
Wow, fascinating. Can you do a body scan on Robert and look deep into his body? Tell me how his body looks.
Yes, his body is going through transition again. Bones are becoming more dense. They're becoming harder and also more resilient. His organs are clear. His chakras are very clear.
Can you send healing through his body?
Yes,
Just flood him with this healing.
it's time for him to give back to himself through solitude.
That's wonderful. Tell me about that. What does he need to understand about this?
He has searched for a divine feminine counterpart for much of his life, always feeling something was missing. The answer was always within. His balance can be fully achieved without union. While there's a place for union and a time, it's important that he knows and understands that he needs nothing outside of him in order to ascend and fulfill his mission.
Thank you very much. Now these are second,